So I consider my life to have great purpose. It's only becoming more and more an adventurous journey. And today I'm going to teach you the exact steps that Dr. Pillai taught me in order to take a hold of my life and totally recreate it. So first of all, to unveil your divinity, I just want to tell a brief story that Dr. Pillai told me when I first met him. He told me the story about there was a kingdom where there was political unrest. And because of the unrest, a child was born to the king. However, this child had to be taken out of the kingdom in the middle of the night and taken to the hut of a woodsman. And the child grew up there thinking that he was the son of the woodsman. So many years went on, and the political situation in the kingdom was resolved. So one day, a posse of people went from the kingdom to bring back the prince who was to be made king. So they spoke to the boy, and they said, "You are not the son of a woodsman. You're the prince, and you're soon to be king of a kingdom." And Dr. Pillai said, "You have to understand this is everyone's life. You have to wake up and understand that you did not come here destined to do small, mediocre activities and to have negative events like disease, relationship problems, financial problems in your life. Everyone here is a divine being. You have a great destiny and purpose for taking this birth. And all it takes is to help you to unveil the divinity which is living within you." So he taught me the basic steps, and that's what we're going to go through now. First of all, it's very important to spend time every day in meditation or using mind processes. Why? Because you have to awaken the divine mind. Right now, the human mind has a few characteristics that are common to everyone. The human mind is negative, limited, and is based on logic. As Dr. Pillai explains, the mind is like a bird that's trapped in a room, desperately looking for an exit. So it will frantically go here, there, and there, trying to find a way to get out. Similarly, our mind is shooting random negative thoughts all throughout the day. Now, the challenge with this is that the mind is trying to find a way out of the suffering, but what's happening is that all those negative thoughts that we think are creating a negative reality, which will be one-to-one with our thoughts. We become what we think. The fastest way out of the negativity of the mind is through meditation, or what Dr. Pillai now calls as a mind process. Dr. Pillai has recreated his teachings into a discipline called mind science. And the reason why he calls it mind science is that he believes that we will create the most powerful discipline for transformation if we take spirituality and science and merge the two together. Because truly, spirituality can be explained by scientific principles, and science needs spirituality to explain the most powerful principles there. So Dr. Pillai has been teaching about how quantum physics actually explains a lot of the spiritual phenomena that we experience, and how quantum physics also helps us to develop spiritual techniques to the most powerful degree. So instead of meditation, now he uses the word mind process, because he teaches that the mind, which is the most powerful mind, is what is called the particle mind. That's the same thing as the divine mind is the particle mind. Just as the particles are infinitely flexible, moving at a very high speed. They have no fixed location. They have all potentiality. So it's a metaphor for the kind of mind that we need that is fast and flexible and able to capture infinite opportunities. The mind that we have right now that you experience every day, and we know it very well, it's a very stuck mind that gets stuck down certain negative tracks. We all know what those are. Either worrying about financial problems, worrying about the future of our family, maybe resentment towards other people, blame, anger. We need a new mind. So Dr. Pillai has brought forward mind science in order to transform the mind and transform it into its true nature, which is the divine mind, and he refers to that as the particle mind. We can attain the particle mind through a mind process or meditation. And the meditation that I'm going to teach you today is the most foolproof meditation in order to have a perfect experience where the mind will disappear, and then consciousness will be released throughout the entire body in order to heal the body, rejuvenate the body, give energy back to the body, heal diseases of any kind. And most importantly, in this field where the mind disappears, we enter easily the divine mind. And in that space, we're in a field of unlimited opportunities. And we can receive divine insights, divine thoughts of what we need to do. We need to have time in that mind every day because we know what it's like to spend time in this lower mind. It's tiring, and that's why we need to sleep. But in this meditation called yogic sleep, you'll experience the equivalent of 8 hours of rest in 20 minutes. So it's a technique for business people and for people that want to perform in their life because you have a very powerful experience in a short amount of time. Now, second thing we need to do is remove our human limitations. Limitations come to us in two ways. One is our karma. We talk about karma a lot, but it helps to deeply understand the process of karma and how it actually came to be in our life. Karma is actually our destiny. Just as a seed has a destiny to grow into a tree, we have a destiny which is waiting to flower for us. And this destiny was created for us by the thoughts and desires and actions that we held very passionately in previous births. All those thoughts and desires and actions were actually gathered in the soul as electrical activity, and the soul carried forward all these thoughts and desires into this birth. In fact, we created this birth just so we could experience those thoughts and desires. So we created the karma, and we created the lifetime. And if we don't accomplish it in this lifetime, we'll want another lifetime in order to experience these thoughts and desires. Now, in the physical body, this karma, in terms of karmic impressions, is gathered at the throat. The throat is the most important juncture of the body. It's the place between the body and the head, and it's the juncture between matter and energy, and matter or spirit. So if we focus on the throat, and if we use a quantum sound frequency or a mantra that will target and remove these karmic impressions stored in the throat, then we have a very powerful resolution to remove this poison which is collected at the throat. And these are the karmic impressions that are waiting to flower into your future life. They're waiting for you. They are stored at the throat. Any diseases that are there to come, problems for your family, your relationship, and money, all those events are stored in the throat in terms of karmic impressions. And we can use a quantum sound or a mantra in order to penetrate those impressions in the throat and eradicate them. I'm going to talk briefly about one of the quantum sounds that we're going to use now, because I'll be introducing you the sound while you're in trance, and at that time your mind will be gone. The first sound we're going to use is Tirunilakantam. This sound, these quantum sounds, and the reason why Dr. Pillai calls them quantum sounds, is that these sounds have a very subtle power in order to perform exactly what you need them to do. In this case, this quantum sound has the ability to remove the poison or the karmic impressions stored at the throat. That ability or those characteristics, that is inherent in these sounds. So the sounds will do the work for you. If you focus on your throat and use these quantum sounds, it performs a laser surgery of removing those negative impressions that are waiting to flower into your future life. So we're going to implant this mantra in all of you today, and I'm going to teach you a brief ritual that you can do with the mantra, because Dr. Pillai believes in teachings that are very powerful, easy, and fast. Most of his techniques only take 1 minute, and that's something we definitely need in our everyday lives. So I'm going to be teaching you that ritual after we implant the sound within you during the meditation. Now briefly, I just want to say that there is another way that we need to remove human limitations, and that is by making offerings to ancestors. Our ancestors are definitely the greatest benefactors in our life. However, most of the souls who depart the bodily form are trapped on the earth plane, and they're not able to transit into light. The challenge with this is that the souls of our ancestors are definitely close around us because they love us, they want to help us. However, their health problems, their money problems, their relationship problems, they are still vibrating with that, and you may be picking up their thoughts or their diseases or the financial problems. And it could be affecting you and your children. If you do a simple offering to these ancestors every day, you will see miracles in your life, because you can help your ancestors to pass into light. For you, once they become appeased, take the offering and transit out of the earth plane, you will not be picking up their thoughts and their energy and their problems. And for your children, you'll be doing a great act to clear that energy from their life. So I'm going to teach you a simple ritual that you can perform every day in only 1 minute. Today we're going to go through it very step by step, so it will take about 10 minutes. It's a very simple and powerful ritual that I personally do every day, and Dr. Pillai recommends for everyone. The third way that we unveil our divinity is to use divine time management. And by this, I mean that there are energies presiding over every day that are based on astrological principles. If we acknowledge this, identify those energies, and plan our schedule according to the energies, we can do a great good towards either enhancing the positive events in our life or making sure that we minimize negative events in our life by being careful of the times that hold potential problems for us. So divine time management can radically change the success that you experience, because you'll know how to work with the energies of the day and use them to your benefit. 4, using spiritual tools that do work for you is a very powerful way of unveiling your divinity, meaning there are spiritual tools that will meditate for you, and I'll explain more about that later. They will release a mantra into your environment for you, or they will actually do the work of removing karma from you. So those spiritual tools, that maximizes your time because they do the work for you. And these are all divine substances that have been identified by the yogis and brought forward by Dr. Pillai. So first we're going to start with this mind process called yogic sleep. In this meditation, it's very important that everyone is laying down. And the reason why we do that, all of you know what it's like to sit and try and meditate. The mind goes on and on and on. If you lay down, number one, the ego is much less. You're totally defenseless when you're lying on the ground, especially with your arms and legs spread. That's good, because when the ego is reduced, and when you actually immobilize every part of the body, you can make the mind disappear. What happens is then you easily and effortlessly enter the divine mind or the particle mind. And from there, you can pick up divine thoughts, heal your body, and totally restructure your reality. Now in this meditation, the reason why it's called yogic sleep is it's how yogis sleep. They will sleep with full awareness, and the indication that they've entered an extraordinary state is by snoring. So many of you will be snoring, but you will still hear me. And the people this morning snored beautifully. We had over 100 people snoring altogether. That's a perfect indication. You will exactly hear the meditation, but it's an indication that you've moved from an ordinary state to an extraordinary state. So you can tell your spouses the next time they complain about your snoring that you're only doing your yogic work.